Hi, everyone. My name is Butch Wright, and I'm your instructor for Anthropology 2200 Introduction to Physical Anthropology. This is just a real quick introductory video so you can kind of get an idea what we're going to be doing this semester, what kind of things we're going to be covering, and how the whole thing works. First, I'm going to go over these slides here, then we'll visit the platform in a little bit just so you can see how things are going to work. But first, a little bit about me. I'm your main instructor. My name is Butch Wright. I live out here in Hilliard, which is on the west bank of the Scioto River over west of Columbus. I live here with my wife and son. I'm a PhD student in anthropology, where I specialize in environmental anthropology. My specific area of interest is ecological adaptations of indigenous peoples and maroon cultures in the Amazon, but I do love all kinds of ecological adaptation scenarios. So I do read quite a bit about that. I lived in Manaus, Brazil, which is in the very center of the Brazilian Amazon on the Amazon River for 18 years. I completed my master's degree in biology with emphasis on ecology at the National Institute for Amazonian Research, where I work with indigenous peoples, surprise, surprise, and their ecological adaptations. The lecture videos that you'll be watching were recorded by Dr. Mark Ube in our department. I have not had time to record my own versions of the videos yet, but Dr. Ube's videos are really, really good. And he is like me, he's Brazilian. I'm dual citizen, but Dr. Ube is full Brazilian. He specializes in morphological adaptation, and he has conducted a lot of research on early American populations and studied at the University of São Paulo. You can see down here at the bottom, I have office hours. I'm going to have regular scheduled office sessions. This can be group or individual, depending on how the demand goes. On February 10th from 10 to noon and April 7th from 10 to noon. Or if you need to just talk to me individually, just make sure you schedule with me at least 48 hours out, make sure I don't have any conflicts. And we'll set something up. But I'm a very accessible guy. I'm very easygoing. Please call me Butch. Do not call me Doctor. I haven't got that yet. And please don't call me Mr. Wright. That's my father, to use that old cliche. So just call me Butch. As you can see here, I'm a soccer fan too. So if you even just want to chit chat, get to know me a little better, that's fine. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy getting to know my students. So let me know. Biology versus physical anthropology. I know a lot of you aren't anthropologists. You're taking this class as part of a general education requirement for life sciences. This is the class, though, I should say, that made me fall in love with anthropology. I was not an anthropology undergrad. I was a Russian studies undergrad. And in order to graduate, I had to have a life science general education requirement. I didn't really want to sit in an auditorium full of 300 people, looking at slides about how cells split and what are the parts of the cells and not really getting any kind of interaction. So I thought, well, anthropology sounds kind of interesting. That's like digging up bones of dinosaurs, right? No dinosaurs here. Physical anthropology, as you'll see, tends to study more on humans and non-human primates. And in this case, we look at how, not only how things work, but also why biological systems evolve, and ultimately why some die out. Why are there no, cavemen running around anymore like there were 300,000 years ago, the Neanderthals? Or why, when they say that we've evolved from monkeys, why are there still monkeys? Well, we'll see all these answers. We'll understand how the thing works. And it really is interesting. I found it much more fascinating than I ever expected it would. Like I said, it's maybe what made me fall in love with anthropology and made me think that maybe there's something to this field that I should check out. I'm not going to say that that's going to be your case necessarily, but it is something that, like I said, it worked for me. And for many of you, it might prove to be something that you might want to pursue further. If that's the case, of course, you can always discuss that with me or someone else in the department if you want more information. The course has three important parts. We have the lectures, which are available on links that you'll be able to watch. They have the readings, and we have the labs. And the lectures are available on Carmen. You just click the link, you sit back, watch the video. If there's any kind of technical glitch with the lectures, please let me know. I've had that happen in the past. I can point you in the right direction. Also, the slides are available for the lectures. So if you need those, please let me know. The readings are on both Carmen and on Top Hat. Now, Top Hat's another platform. I don't know if you've used it yet. I'll show you how that works here in a little bit. But the readings are usually PDFs, or in the case of Top Hat, they are related to the labs that you'll be doing. So you need to do the readings. That's where all the information for your lab questions will come from. And the labs are specifically on Top Hat. Now, Top Hat is a platform that is quite interactive. It allows for viewing 3D images. It's really kind of cool. It was first semester we ever used it last term, so there were some bugs in it, but I think we've got those pretty well worked out. If you still have any problems, please let me know. But on the syllabus page that I'll show you in a little bit, there are instructions underneath my biography to tell you exactly how to set up your account if you haven't done so already, or how to register for the course. Now, the course code you'll need to use is right here, 810385. And you'll need to be able to access that in order to access your labs. Labs will be available from the start of the semester, must be completed by the last regular Friday of the semester, not exam week, in order to receive full credit. I also highly recommend that when you do the labs, that you try to tie the labs in with the readings during the weekly schedules, or as you're doing these. As you do the readings, try to do the same labs that you're reading on. Don't try to like read everything and then go back and do the labs, because a lot of the information that you'll need will need to be fresh in your mind. So if you read the labs, watch the lectures, read all the course readings, and then do all that at the same time, it generally leads to greater rate of success than those people who say, well, I'll do all the lectures and then I'll go back and do all the quizzes and then I'll do all the labs. Best thing to do is to try to tie it all together, so the information is still fresh in your mind. Now, late work, like I said, I'm a very easygoing guy. I don't have any problem, accepting late work if there's a good reason for it. I know the pandemic has really affected a lot of people. Some people still have a lot of ongoing issues with the pandemic, both, in terms of their emotional and their physical health. So if you feel like you're going to have trouble completing your assignments at any time, just let me know. I don't have any problem extending the deadlines for you, as long as you have a good enough reason. And like I said, I'm pretty easygoing about that. I understand, so it should not be a problem. I do highly recommend trying to keep up with your work, as I mentioned before. It can get, not only the information can kind of go stale in your mind if you leave like your labs too long or the quizzes too long after you've seen the lecture, but also there's a lot of material that we're going to be going over, and you're going to need to be able to stay on top of all of it. So you don't have to stick exactly to the schedule that is, set up on Carmen, but you should be able to set up your own schedule and keep everything tied together in the best way possible. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself getting behind, and next thing you know, it's April and you have a ton of work to complete on time. So if you have any issues with any of that, please let me know. We can talk it over and try to help you work through it. Okay. There are textbooks, one required, one optional. The main textbook for this class is Introduction to Biological Anthropology Lab Manual. That's purchased through Top Hat for $45. I also recommend the optional textbook, Biological Anthropology, Concepts and Connections. You can get that physically or digitally. You can rent it for $24 on Amazon. I bought my copy because I think it's a good book. It really can, if you have trouble understanding the lecture and some of the readings that we do, or some of the lecture materials that we're posting online, this book has a very good way of explaining how it works in a different language. And so you can always look at this book to help you plow through some of the subjects that we're getting into. I also offer optional extra credit assignments throughout the semester. These are up to 5 points that you can use toward a single quiz grade, not a lab grade, but quiz grade. You can only use the 5 points toward one quiz grade. You can't like say, oh, I want to use 2 points for this quiz and 3 for another quiz. It doesn't work like that. But for a lot of people, especially early on when they're not quite don't quite have the feel for how the class works or how the quizzes work or what kind of material we look for, these extra credit assignments have proven to be a good lifeline to make sure that you can take a grade of 13 out of 20 and raise it to an 18 out of 20, which is, quite a difference. So it goes from a 65 to a 90%. So these will be related to topics we'll be covering the same week. So don't expect me to give you like an article on Neanderthals the first week when we're talking about how mutations occur or anything like that. No, everything will be tied into the subject matter. So they're kind of fun too. It's not a whole lot of work. I just want to see that you know how to make an argument and support your argument. And it's worth it just to try to get a real world example of how this stuff applies. And I know a lot of people say, when am I ever going to use this stuff? Well, we use it every day, and you see it in news stories all the time. I mean, you can open up a magazine or a website, from a news service, and they're talking about how hominid remains were found in Portugal that show that modern humans crossed with Neanderthals, and you will understand the science of what they're talking about in the article, and you understand how this stuff applies to our real life every day. Here are the important contacts. If you have any questions for me as your instructor, that's my email right there. Dr. Ubes, who is your lecturer, his email's right here. If you have any trouble with Carmen, you can contact the help desk at tech support. I am not very good at technical stuff. I can sometimes walk people through it, but it's not my forte. So if you have any issues with Carmen, please contact tech support. They're much, much better equipped to handle that than I am. And Top Hat, there's the 1888 number here if you need someone to talk you through it. They also have a link on the page that you can click, and they'll help you walk through that. All right. The grading system, we'll talk more about that a little bit here, but this is how your grades break down. There are laboratory exercises. There's 12 of those. We have also the epiphanies, which are about 26. We have the visual study guides. There's 4 of those, and quizzes there's 7 of those. And so that's how they break down percentage-wise of your grade. And we use the standard Ohio State grading scheme. So you get one of these percentages, that's your grade. I will caution one thing that I've had a lot of students in the past kind of complaining about. I don't import the grades from Top Hat into Carmen regularly. The reason being, it can kind of generate panic among students who haven't done some of the labs yet, and the Top Hat system will throw in, if someone's done a part of a lab, it'll calculate it as done, and it'll give them like a 13 out of 100 points, and that'll make their grade for the whole course drop like from a A- down to a D, and so they'll panic me. So make sure that if you look at your grades on Carmen, realize that that does not reflect all the assignments that have been for the whole course. That's just what you have done so far. Okay, so make sure that you if you want an accurate view of your grade, you'll have to do the math yourself. How many points were available for those individual assignments, and how many points you got on each of those individual assignments. It's pretty easy to do. Sounds a little more complicated than it is, but that'll give you a more accurate idea of what your grade is. Because if you do one quiz and get an A on that, but you haven't done any of the other homework, if you go into Carmen, most of the time you'll see the grade is still an A, even though you haven't turned in any other work. So let's check out the Carmen page here. Let me swap out the page here, screen share. Here we go. There. All right, this is our home page for Anthropology 2202. I have not published it as of January 5th at 1:53 p.m. I will publish this very soon. And everything will be available, like I said. On the home page here, just got some menu options. You have your to-do list over here, course calendar over here, some interesting pictures here, kind of give you an idea of the things that we're going to be looking at. And an important thing here is the announcements. On the home page, you can always see the announcements. I have the welcome one already posted. I usually do one a week to kind of give you a heads up about what we're talking about that week. You can also see all the announcements here on the announcements page. Okay. It is important, I would say it is imperative of you to make sure that you enable your phones or your tablets to give you an alert whenever an announcement is made for the class. Most of the communications we do are through Carmen, through announcements, and through the inbox messenger thing here. Usually when I talk to the whole class or the class as a whole, I do an announcement here. So if you want to know what's going on, please enable your phone to let you know when there's something coming up. We have the syllabus page here. As it mentions here, this course is divided into 4 modules, broken into weekly units, okay? I don't know why the image isn't loading. I'll work on that here. Anyway, this is a little more in-depth biography than the one I gave you at the start of this video here. Talking a little bit about what I work with and who I am. Then we get down into the course description. This goes over all the same stuff we've kind of covered briefly in the first part, but gives you more detail of what we're looking at. Again, here's the Top Hat code and a direct link for it. We have weekly modules divided into 4 weekly assignments divided into the modules. There's your grading part again. Labs are all talked about here. There's your grading overview. And if you look here, here's the course summary with your assignments listed. It goes all the way down to the very end of the course. There's the quizzes. The modules I tend to use the modules page as a student more than to do the assignments or the syllabus page to see anything, because it divides it into how things are going to work every week. Okay. Here's the welcome page. One thing I do want to call attention to here, and I'm going to change the date on that. We have the pre-course assessment. You have to do this before you can start week 1. It's not a graded thing. It's just kind of us trying to get an idea of how much you already know coming into this. Okay, and then here we have the turn on the notifications for announcements. I mentioned that earlier. Week 1, you have your lectures. Those are to watch. You click on one of those, you'll see how that works here. Oh boy. Okay, and that for some reason didn't work here. If you get this happening to you where it doesn't show up right away, just go back and then you can try opening in a new tab and it'll open up. To give an example. Okay. There you go. That's usually your best strategy. Sometimes they'll open directly if you just press it. Other times you'll have to manually open up a tab yourself. Then you have your to-do here. These lead you to the epiphanies. You write a short comment, not very long. I say 50 to 100 words. That's fine. Just make sure that you show that you actually know what you're talking about, and I'll give you full credit for it. But I do read them. I do read everything, so don't try putting limericks in there or anything. And then here are your resources. You have some question and answer stuff. You have your introduction PDF, and these are just the same slides as you'll see in the lectures. Okay. Now, when you get down to the labs, you can see here. Let me go back to the home page so you can see Top Hat right away. Syllabus page it should be. When you go to Top Hat, you should be able to look at page right away if you're already registered. I changed the number here. And you'll have all the labs listed here. You open it up and you'll see here the introduction, background, readings. This is data analysis tabs. You have the discussion and the bibliography. This part here is nothing you'll ever see because that's for the in-person classes, and this is an online class. So if you do not have direct access through the link here on the home page, or rather on the syllabus page, or through the lab pages on the modules, you will need to register. And so that's what this link here is. And you go there, and it will take you to this page here. And you look for the one that is registered to me, which is this section here. Okay. Quizzes. Those are pretty straightforward as well. You have the assignment lab quizzes, and then you have regular quizzes based on the lecture materials. The lab quizzes are all part of the actual labs themselves, whereas these quizzes here are from the lecture readings on Carmen. So don't confuse those. Make sure that you do both the lab quizzes and these quizzes here, because they are different and do count for different parts of your grade. The lab quizzes are part of your overall Top Hat grade, your lab grade, whereas these quizzes here are standalone. Okay. Now, as always, if you have any questions about any of this material or anything that's going on here, please let me know. I'm here to help. I know we don't interact a lot directly during the semester, this being an asynchronous class or all that. But I am here to help you. I usually respond to emails, messages within 24 hours. And if you need any direct help, let me know. We can schedule time to chat through Zoom, or if I need to come to campus, I can come to campus. We just have to, like I said, make sure you schedule with me at least 48 hours out to make sure that I can get over there. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot more to go over. As always, if you have any questions, let me know. And I'm looking forward to working with each and every one of you this semester. And I hope you all enjoy this class as much as I did when I took it back in my undergraduate days. All right, take care, and we'll see you this semester.